What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Pros and Cons, where we have some serious topics that need discussing. Should Erik ten Hag lose his job? Should Ineos stick with Erik ten Hag? How do we all feel about that game yesterday and the utter madness? How you go from winning the game and then 2 minutes later you're losing it. That is Man United in a nutshell, innit, effectively. So we are going to discuss the positives and the negatives of the game yesterday. And let's be honest, the majority are negatives, but the things that need to be spoken about. We ain't going to beat around the bush on this show. We're going to talk about exactly how it is and exactly how I feel and exactly how you guys feel. So get your comments in about the performance against Chelsea yesterday and we'll certainly talk about it. So in a nutshell, we go 2 goals behind from another cutback goal to Conor Gallagher. I mean, how many of them, first and foremost, have we conceded this season? Absolutely ridiculous. Anthony then gets caught lacking. I think it was Cucurella on the overlap, struggling to get back. Gives away a bit of a silly penalty. People might say it was a little bit harsh, but same thing with the other penalty as well, which I'll talk about. So you give yourself a mountain to climb, first and foremost, when you go 2-0 down to Chelsea. Out of all teams, Chelsea is shitter than us. And we go 2-0 down to them. So after 20 minutes, we're already up against it, right? Then Caicedo gifts us a goal and gifts us a lifeline to get back into the team. And he knew how pivotal that goal would be simply by his reaction. You can see it in his face. As soon as he lost that ball and gave that penalty pass, he was like, oh, shit. And in fairness to Garnacho, he capitalised on it, got us back into it, and then Diogo Dalot with a perfect cross into Bruno Fernandes at the back post, leaves it 2 apiece basically, and we're level. We're like, right, we've done our job, we've done the hard bit now, we've got back into it, let's go. Second half started like lightning again. It was almost a real life game of football. A real life game of football. That's what it felt like to me. A real life game of FIFA, I'm saying. Obviously, it was a real life game of football. A real life game of FIFA, sorry, is what I wanted to say. It was so end to end, so back and forth. Just lightning everywhere. And it was almost like both teams were ultra attacking. That's what it felt like. No one gave a shit. It was like they both looked at each other and they just said, let's find out who is the shittest. Let's just go back and forth and let's just see what happens. But it was United who capitalised on it first. Anthony did extremely well for that goal as well. And the ball in, which I thought initially, I don't know if I was more shocked the fact that he didn't cross it with his right foot because I thought he put it in. So I was like, oh my God, he's using his right foot again, because he scored against Liverpool. And he notoriously never ever uses it. I was like, oh my God, what a cross on his weak foot. Garnacho with a little cute header to get past Petrovic. But then you look at it on the repeat and it's outside the foot. It's almost like Kevin De Bruyne-esque. Dare I might say that. Amazing pass. Shocked more than anything. So you're like, right, sweet. We're winning. I don't know how we've done it, but we're back in the game. We're winning. Amazing. And then what is absolutely astonishing, in the last 10 minutes, we throw all the hard work away that we've just done to get back into the game, to take the 3 points from Stamford Bridge, which is still tough, even in the situation that Chelsea are in at the minute. You have that situation with Dalot. I mean, I don't know what Dalot is doing there. I'm going to get into the negatives first. I'll talk about them in a second. I don't know what Diego Dalot's doing there. Do we all think it was a penalty? People in TikTok and YouTube, was it a pen last night? Get it in the comments section. I'm interested to see what people think, because some people were saying it was harsh. Some people were saying, no, it was a clear pen. I'm interested to see. Chelsea are awful. United only had 5 shots on target. Yes, it was a pen. The last minutes, says Fikrup. What do we think in YouTube? Penalty or not? I'm intrigued. I don't know. I'm in 2 minds about it, me. I thought it was a little bit harsh. But at the same time, when a player's going at that speed and you get a little bit of a knock, it's like if that happened, on the other side of the game and it was in our box, I'd be a bit like, yeah, it's a bit soft, but maybe we should have had it. So, I don't know. Although, regardless, Dalot gives it away and you're like, right, it's a point. It's fucking shit. We should have won the game. We're taking a point. I agree with you, Samuel, the referee. The referee was bad. Yeah. Completely agree with that. And then the ending was even worse. So it was almost Liverpool-esque against Barcelona, when they just played it quick with Origi. To leave Cole Palmer, who's already scored 2 goals against you, at this point. I know there was both penalties, weren't there? But he's already scored 2 goals. Why on earth would you leave Cole Palmer on the edge of the 18-yard box on his own? It is the most naive, stupid thing I've ever seen. Ridiculous. As soon as that pass got played out, he was like, oh, yeah, well done. You've done it. McTominay rushes out. Well, I won't call it rush. I think that's a bit of a compliment. But he kind of gets out, tries to get the block in. Of course, it deflects off him. And then Chelsea win it in the 90th plus 11th minute. Plus 11th minute. Mubsy says them 2 pens and never pens. Then not only that, 4 goals in the first half, 5 minutes added time. Mad, isn't it? That game yesterday was just fucking crazy. And the weird thing is, we've been on the flip side of it. So we're now feeling the defeat because Liverpool was 4-3. Not different type of game because it was still end to end, but obviously we won it in extra time. It was at Old Trafford, a bit different. And then Wolves as well. Don't forget when Kobbie Mainoo scored the last minute winner. We won that game. But it was just the manner of which we did it yesterday, which was unacceptable. To do that within, 2 minutes, we lost the game. Just in a click of a finger. And this has been a reoccurring theme, and this is why I wanted to do the pros and cons live. Now, usually, I do it, I'll film it, I'll do the pre-record, I'll do graphics, etc. But I just wanted to get right into the thick of it today and really talk about it. And also interact and communicate because I like hearing other people's opinions and thoughts and what they, especially with with the penalties and certain situations in the game and the goals and stuff like that. So yeah, second half, 1 goal and a few subs, and it's 8 minutes added time. Where's it coming from? Yeah, where's the added time coming from? What on earth is the referee doing? What on earth are some of our individual players doing? What on earth's going on with injuries? Let's just dive into the positives, the negatives. Sorry, I'm going to discuss the negatives. So the first one I had is the manager. There's only one place to start, and it is Erik ten Hag. Should Erik ten Hag be sacked? I left a poll in YouTube. If there's any, moderators in the TikTok, let me put a poll out for us if you can. Should Erik ten Hag walk, yes or no? Because this is really, really splitting the fan base at the moment. People, I think it's more leaning towards ten Hag to go, I would probably say at the minute. I'm conflicted, but this style that we are playing at the moment is not sustainable. I don't care whatever tactician, nerd, Twitter nerd, whatever it is you want to get, it is not sustainable. We take more shots than Tupac. 225 shots in 2024, the most out of any team. Can we just deep that for a second? How do you expect to win games on a permanent basis like that? Could you imagine Pep going to Brentford and conceding 31 shots? It'd be like a miracle for Brentford. Do you know what I mean? So even though Man City are dominant and one of the best teams in the world at the minute, and they play a different style to us, imagine if they conceded that many shots to Brentford. 225 shots in 2024, the most out of any team, more than Luton, more than Sheffield, more than any team near the bottom of the table. We've conceded more shots. And it's weird because Ten Hag gets asked about this and he kind of spins this narrative that, it's the shots are being managed or whatever, and maybe you look at the shots on targets and you think, oh yeah, that's, you kind of understand what he's saying. Even if you look at the games individually, yeah, 27 shots against City, 23 shots against Everton, 31 shots against Brentford, 28 shots versus Chelsea. That is a huge problem, first and foremost. Then in terms of individual management, he's sending mixed messages because he's saying, well, I've dropped Marcus Rashford and I'm playing Antony because he needs to be rotated and refreshed. But then he's playing Garnacho for his 30th game consecutively. So you're like, well, where's this consistency with your decision-making and your player management? The injury time collapse was probably the biggest I've seen. And, a lot of it's down to players. I understand that. But it's also down to Erik ten Hag's failure to install in-game management. Where is the coaching coming from when you go 3-2 up in a game? You've absolutely grafted your backside off to get back into it. And then it's not, sit, manage, take the 3 points and piss off from Stamford Bridge with your tail between your legs. It's, go on the attack again. Try win it after you've just conceded a stupid goal. It's utter madness. Utter madness for me. No management. I know the players need to do better. I know sometimes it's down to individual decision-making. But it is up to the coaches to install that into each of the players. It's a flaw that is so obvious, yet there's been a complete failure to correct it. All season. The way we set up on defensive set pieces is awful. One of the worst set piece teams in the league, whether it's offensive or defensive. We can't do it. Cole Palmer being a prime example there, where everyone's like, it's like there's a fucking fire in your kitchen and everyone stood there with a fire extinguisher just watching it. Put out the fire, man. Run to the edge of the box and sort your shit out. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're trying to push for Champions League, let alone fucking league titles. I don't get it, man. I really, really don't get it. So I'm losing my patience with Ten Hag. I've been extremely patient. I've given him excuses. I've backed him to the hills with certain things. I've said these players need to go before the manager, and I still stand by that. But I don't see it being sustainable. And yet you've got what you can see on YouTube here, the kind of article at the bottom, well, not the article, the kind of headline. Laurie Whitwell's put a tweet out today saying Ineos would like to stick with Ten Hag. They've communicated with him. They've had, good discussions, This is coming from Laurie Whitwell. We've had him on the channel before. Very good journalist. Extremely good journalist when it comes to Manchester United. I wouldn't put something out there that's absolute rubbish. So, I don't know what the plan is. They must have a big fucking list of shit to do in the summer. They must have like a 20-step thing that they're like, this needs doing, and it starts with the players as well. And I'll get into individual performances because I really want to talk about fucking Casemiro. I really want to talk about, I'll get into that in a minute. Let me just read out a couple of comments and then we'll yeah. Munzi Telok says, this season is turning into the Van Gaal final season. It's turning into Ragnick final season. It's turning into Ollie's final season. This is why I'm saying this is, when you do, what's that saying when they say you do the same thing every time and expect different results? You're mad, basically. I don't know what it is. I'm not a philosophical kind of guy, but you know what quote I'm on about. Lucky Singh, we finish as football club once Southgate gets in. Charlie Malman, you don't have to worry about Southgate. He won't be United manager. I hope you're right. Why did he take Garnacho off? Garnacho was fuming, wasn't he? He was absolutely fuming. And so was Højlund as well. I don't think that looked great, to be honest. Manchester United fans saying, I feel sick. I'm with you on that. Who is the manager getting the best out of? I don't think that's a question. I think he has improved players. 100%. Whether he's getting the best out of him, I mean, Marcus Rashford has had his best season under Erik Ten Hag, first and foremost. I think he's developing Højlund nicely, even though he's been a bit of a ghost the past couple of games. I think Garnacho has come on leaps and bounds since he's integrated him into the squad. I think Kobbie Mainoo as another one, come on leaps and bounds. You see him with his arm around him after the Carabao Cup final saying, you're going to be in this team. I think he's improved him. I think Dalot has improved. I think there's a couple of players who have improved under him. I just think the players that we've currently got... I'll get into that anyway. I had that as a topic that I want to discuss, so I'll just leave that for a minute. Injuries. Injuries is another thing that I want to discuss. And please do subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're just joining, if you're on TikTok. I'm live on both currently at the moment, but Real Reds Talk, the link is in the description, so please do check us out if you're a fan of football content. Injuries. Ahead of this game, Rafael Varane was a doubt after he came off at half-time against Brentford, although then he was then past fit to play against Chelsea. However, he was then replaced by Johnny Evans at half-time, and then just 20 minutes after that, Evans was taken off with what seems yet another injury, and we've got Willy Cambualo replacing him. And we're now down to the bare bones at the back going into this Liverpool game. I don't know who's going to start against Liverpool. I don't have a jar of glue. Don't have a clue. Is it going to be Maguire and Cambualo? Because there's no Lindelof, no Lisandro, no Johnny Evans. Not sure. Maguire's it's probably going to be Maguire and Evans, I'm guessing. But I don't know if Evans is going to be fit and available. And Maguire and Evans against that dynamic, pacey attack at Liverpool. We talk about Diaz, Salah. It's curtains, mate. It is curtains. That is going to be like Sonic the Hedgehog going a fucking care home and just running riot. Because them two at the back, they're all good for their kind of box defending. But when you're trying to push up, nah. You're done for, mate. We have had... I don't want to sound like I'm fucking the kid with the violin in the corner here, right? We have had the worst luck ever with injuries. Nearly 60 now for the season. And it's not getting better at all. It seems like we're just doomed and it's just inevitable. And every game this is going to happen. I understand that teams get injuries. I understand it completely, right? I get it. But our luck this season has been so bad. So just when we get players back and just when we think everything's all rosy and it's going to be fantastic, it's like, bang, there's another two. Lissandro out. Lissandro's been out for the majority of the season and he's our most important player. Likewise with Luke Shaw. Likewise with a load of other players. The medical staff, I don't know what they're doing. That geezer who came over from Arsenal, like Gary O'Descroll, I'm convinced he's got a lump hammer in the dressing room and just twatting the shit out of people's knees and groins. And just, I don't get it. I don't get it. Someone says there, One says Liverpool's injuries are bad. Not as bad as ours, mate. Even in Liverpool's peak season, yeah, when they was wearing T-shirts for Van Dijk and they completely fell off a cliff under Klopp, they had half the injuries that we've got or we've had this season. They had 25, I think, individual injuries. We've had nearly 60. You know what I'm saying? So it's, when you're trying to provide context for a manager, it's valid. It is valid. So yeah. Right, this is the one I really wanted to talk about. Hold on to your horses. Let me get a swig of this. Oh. Casemiro is done. He is done. He is a fucking, excuse me language, if there's any kids watching, it's 12:15, I understand. He is a dinosaur. If you see Casemiro in the next Jurassic Park, you know why. Because he is aged, he is a dinosaur, he cannot run. Speaking of broken legs, oh my God. Way too much space in the middle of the park on way too many occasions for Ten Hag's liking. There was a moment in the first half, I think with Nicholas Jackson, where he quite literally, you see them, let's say women in the park when they've got them two weights in the hands and they're just kind of doing that light jog. That's what Jackson was doing, past him. And Casemiro looked like he was running with steel toe caps on. You're like, what are you doing? You're just letting people consistently walk. I thought he was injured or something. I have no idea what's going on here. He looked like he was running in quicksand. And there was more situations in the game like that. It wasn't just one situation. That was the one where I was like, when I watched him kind of breeze past Jackson, I was like, Jackson breeze past, I was like, oh my God. But every time there was like a quick transition on Chelsea's half, I was like, mate, this guy is done for. He's absolutely done. And with the transfer window coming up, this moment in time, I mean, to be honest, in the system that we play, N'Golo Kante himself would probably, struggle a little bit because we are way too open. But at least he'd have a prime N'Golo Kante can kind of cover the blades, with two people or whatever. At least you'd have a midfielder with mobility to try and handle it. Casemiro ain't that guy. I'm so surprised how much he's fallen off this season. So because he was so good last season. But then we've changed the way we play as well from last season. I think you've got the transfer window coming up this summer. And both Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Dave Brailsford, in attendance watching that, they have to cash in on him. I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know how much they're going to get for him. But, his wages, is he on the most or second most? Like 300 odd grand a week. He's 31, 32. He's gone, man. You look at Fabinho, similar position, similar nationality, Brazilian, gone off to Saudi. I think we need to follow the same kind of path and get a fresh, talented number 6 in. Or maybe a couple, because we don't even have a replacement, to be honest with you. I mean, Amrabat's sat on the bench, and he's another one who he's just like Slugs FC. They're slow as fuck. Amrabat's a snail, Camerabat. Yeah, there you go. Have that one. Man United fan says if we get battered by Liverpool, I think that's him gone. Yeah, I think you're probably right. McTominay, Sancho, Rashford, Wan-Bissaka need to sell. From reports, I've seen them want to keep all the Bruno, Rashford and McTominay and these kind of guys, which is interesting. We're cursed. Yep. Casemiro's a fraud. It's a bit harsh, but okay. Casemiro's finished. Casemiro looks and plays like a corner shot boss man. Wow. Strong by George. Casemiro over-celebrated for no reason. I don't know when that was. I'm not sure what you're referring to there. If Saudi comes in, he has to go, says Oliver. You have to, don't you? You have to. You have to get rid of him. Should have replaced Castro when United signed him. Do you know who I really, really like? Amadou Onana at Everton. You talk about a physical specimen, someone who could take it under pressure, cover blades of grass, get stuck in. He's a little bit raw, a little bit flippant, but Amadou Onana, I'm a fan of. I really, really like. But anyway, midfield's a different discussion. Højlund, another negative. Not on his half. he's been a ghost because we don't supply him. We do not supply him. In the opening 45 minutes against Brentford, he had 14 touches. Yeah, and United had a total XG of 0.09. The midfielders and the wingers were able to connect with him on multiple occasions. His expected XG against Chelsea was 0.06. He had no shots on target, no shots off target, 22 touches in the whole game, and he was brought off on a 66th minute and just did not look impressed at all. I thought, maybe he's carrying a knock or whatever it was. Didn't see anything about that in the post-match presser. So, I don't know. I really feel sorry for him. I remember that start back in November where it was like the wingers had passed to him 5 times, I think, in numerous games. And as a striker, how you expect to eat if you're not being fed anything, if nothing's being put on your table. He's a very, very talented player, but he is going to struggle in this system at times, I think. Would you take Bowen from West Ham? To be honest, I don't think the winger situation is something that we're desperate for at the minute. I like Ahmad. I like Garnacho. Rashford, when he's on it, I like, but he's a bit selfish and greedy. Anthony's been pretty good, to be fair. He's one of the people that I want to speak about on the positives. That's not saying I want to keep him because of them performances alone, but I think the past couple of games he's been good, and I thought it was probably one of his best performances in the United shirt yesterday, in my personal opinion. Anyway, people may disagree with that, but I thought it was pretty good. United got robbed yesterday. I don't know if we got robbed. I just think it was pure stupidity on our part. Another one, pathetic, weak mentality. Go and analyse the majority of the games this season, and I would go as far to say at least 60% of them, there is a 10-minute period where the players' arseholes just fall out. We completely collapse. To go 2 goals down is bad enough, but then to the hard bit and bringing it back, and then, you're just like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Go look at, you've got Copenhagen, Galatasaray, Bayern Munich, City, Liverpool. The list is endless in periods in a game where they'll just score 2 goals rapid. And we're like, it's almost like a flash. You know that Men in Black pen? And you just click it. And you're like, what's happened? What's going on? We're 3-2 down, 4-3 down. It's 3-0. Who the fuck is demanding people in this team? Who is the leader who's, like a Van Dijk, for example, on that, when we can get that corner against Chelsea and Cole Palmer's at the edge of the box. Van Dijk would have had someone, he would have been screaming at someone and saying, and I hate using that reference because he's a Liverpool player, but he would have done, or if a Vidic, for example, back in the day, it would have been like, someone get on that fucking man, their best player who's on the edge of the 18-yard box, waiting to be gifted a goal. Someone get on him. And everyone's just switched off. There's no leaders in there. I mean, Ten Hag says Casemiro is one of the leaders, and he weren't on the pitch. Lissandro's injured. He's not on the pitch. Barry Maguire is he a leader? He's got his own shit to deal with. There's no one demanding anything on that pitch, and there's a lack of leaders from what I've seen. Marcus Rashford, another one, when we talk about discipline and work rate and weak mentality. To see him come off the bench and do what can only be described as a Karen walk. I saw a clip yesterday, all these clips that have been put out of him, and he's coming on and he's doing this. He's like a Nintendo Mii character where he's just following him and bopping about. And you're like, Rashford, do you want to put the burners on a bit, mate? Do you want to go and press him and show a bit of intent and show a bit of personality? And the quote that keeps coming to my mind every time I think about Marcus Rashford is the one where he says, "Don't question my commitment. Don't ever question my commitment. I don't know what you're talking about." Mate, people are going to do that when you're fucking walking at turtle pace. You know when you get the mobility scooters and you can put them on turtle mode? That's what he's doing all around the pitch. You've come on as a sub. You've not even started the game. And you're doing a Karen walk, chasing people. Sort your fucking head out. I don't get it. He's making silly decisions. Silly decisions. And I'm so done with this team, man. Honestly. The weak, the spoiled, they turn up when they want. It wouldn't surprise me if they beat Liverpool on a weekend. Because they're that flippant. And they're that inconsistent. It's hard work supporting this team. Honestly, like a fucking roller coaster. Anyway, let's dive into the positives because I've been very negative for a long time, so I want to try end on a bright note. Anthony, like I mentioned before, gets the nod ahead of Rashford, which a lot of people were shocked. No one expected that. I thought he might have gone with Mount because Mount scored against Brentford, but maybe he's not available to start just yet. But he's been half decent in the past couple of games. Had a slow start for 20 minutes or so. I'd probably say kind of pondering on the ball a little bit too much. But he had Cucurella's number, I thought, for the majority of the game. And Cucurella isn't, fucking a prime Ashley Cole. But, he had his number and he was doing well against him. It suddenly switched for that Garnacho's goal, the first one, where he did very well to play. I don't know if any of you guys remember it. He plucked it right out of the air. It was just about to go out of play and, plucked it with his left foot. And then Casado did what he did and we capitalised on it. And then the second one as well, where he switched to play. He did well in the move for Bruno's goal, where he switched to play to Dalot. Dalot put the ball in for Bruno. Bruno scored the header. And then his moment of the game, obviously, was the assist for Garnacho's second, which I've already kind of touched on. But bombing down the right wing. Plays like anyone who plays FIFA will get this reference. Plays like a Travella cross outside of his foot. Perfect ball to Garnacho, and we get back in the game. And that's what, when United fans speak about Antony, it's lack of crossing, lack of getting past his man and beating his man with pace and getting a ball into the box, because he always cuts in and he always shoots. And that is the opposite of his story that he's been doing so far. So it was really refreshing and really nice to see that. And who knows what happens with him? Maybe he'll go in the summer. He certainly hasn't worked out so far. The price tag isn't his fault. I get that. But you're going to be judged when you've been bought for 85 million quid and you're a winger for Man United and you're one of the... you're one of the manager's main signings. So I get it. I understand it. Kyle CFC says Palmer, Garnacho. I mean, he's having a better season. It's undeniable. Whether he's a better player or not, I don't know. I think they're both promising, to be honest. I'd rather leave it at that. Hopefully, Anthony can find form. Chris says the whole team needs shook up, too lazy. I agree. It's been like this for years, though, Chris. It's been like this for years. If we don't, Lucky Singh says, if we don't start clearing out deadwood players, we are in trouble. United fan says, if we don't sort out our midfield, we'll be in a similar position next. We're the masters of our own downfall. Mentally, some Manchester United players switch on. The majority of them don't. Yeah. So, Antony, decent. I liked him. I liked him in the past couple of games. He's been good. Then for the next positive, I'm losing my words here. Garnacho, fearless. In so many games, this kid can hold his head high. He started nearly 30 games consecutively. Works his backside off, has single-handedly got us back in games like he did last night, scoring 2 goals. Even cast your minds back to the game against Aston Villa in December, where we're 2-0 down, again, to 2 stupid goals. Whether that's down to the keeper or whatever it is, from set pieces, which is why I'm saying it's a reoccurring theme. Garnacho scores 2 goals again, gets us back in the game. Højlund scores his first Premier League goal of the season. The weird thing is, he has one of the strongest mindsets, and he's one of the youngest players. It almost looks like Kobe and Garnacho are the senior players in the team because they've almost not been tainted by this weak mentality that's kind of a cloud over United. Him and Mainu are like the senior players in that team. It's mad. It's absolutely mad considering they're 19 and 18 years old and they're almost carrying United. I think he'll end up going to Madrid and becoming a star, Garnacho. I think he's just going to do a similar trajectory, not in terms of numbers as Cristiano Ronaldo, but I think he obviously looks up to Ronaldo. He uses the same celebration. He's a winger, tricky, confident. You can see the comparisons there. I'm not saying he's going to be Cristiano Ronaldo before people start fucking saying all that shit. I just think he'll have a similar trajectory where he'll end up being at Madrid and becoming a star or, another club because... depending on what happens with United under Ineos over the next couple of years, maybe we'll get back to the top and he'll be a big part of it. And I hope he does. But he's been the only consistent winger we've had at the club this season. Rashford's been in and out. Antony's been mostly out. Ahmad has hardly had any game time. He's been the best winger, he has. Whether he's on the left or right-hand side, he's been really, really good. 9 goals and 4 assists this season, so he's almost in double figures, which is a decent return, considering his age. You'd hope that's, kind of only going to improve, but he's always a bright spark, despite the result, whatever it is. Garnacho, for the majority, whenever I do these pros and cons after a game, Garnacho's usually in the positive section. And the weird thing is, players like Bruno and Rashford and these guys are in the negatives. It tells you everything you need to know. Another positive I thought, and I champion Mason Mount quite a bit, and anyone who watches the YouTube channel will probably know this, and I'm stretching the positives a little bit here with this one, but I thought he had an impact in the Brentford game, obviously scored his first goal for United, and then he's kind of coming on at Chelsea where the atmosphere is, there's a lot of booing, it's his old club, it's kind of expected, but he brought energy, first-time passing, management, worked well in tight spaces. I think he should probably start over Rashford, I really do, or even over Bruno Fernandes. It's time for a change and time to give him a run of games. He won't start. Ten Hag won't start him. But I just think, why spend 60 million quid and make him your main signing if you're not going to play him consistently? I know he's only just come back from injury, but I honestly think hearing things about him in training and what people are saying about him and what managers say about him, I think he's a good player, man. He comes on yesterday, he does, like I said, for example, the two different scenarios. Rashford comes on, he's fucking power walking everywhere. Mount comes on, the intensity, the pressing, the quick thinking, the first time passing, the unselfishness. That's what I want to see from a player. You know what I mean? He's not as erratic as Bruno. When Bruno plays as a 10, he picks it up and it's like, I need to get rid of this. I can't keep hold of it. Let's just fucking play it anywhere. Do you know what I mean? There's no control with Bruno. Mount brings that calmness first time, switch on. And there's a reason why Arteta wanted him and there's a reason why Klopp wanted him. For them specific reasons I'm talking about. I like him. I think he's going to be an important player. I was happy with his cameo yesterday and I was happy with his cameo against Brentford and I hope he can start getting full minutes because players need to be dropped. They need to be dropped. 100%. Garnacho is the next Ronaldo. We'll be very lucky to keep him. I mean, that's something to live up to. I won't put that pressure on him, but it's something to be the next Ronaldo. Them players don't come, very often. So, yeah. Do we think we'll beat Liverpool on Sunday? Well, we do have the Liverpool preview at 6 o'clock today, and there's 4 of us on the channel reviewing it. There's me, Sam, Shreyas, and Adam, I think, is back on today. The Irish charming Adam. Is back on. So I'm interested to get the lads' thoughts because I haven't spoken to them about the game properly yet. Me and Sam was on the review last night, but I haven't spoken to Adam and I haven't spoken to Shreya, so I'm interested to see what they say. And I'm also interested to see what they think about this Liverpool game because I guarantee you there's going to be a lot of negativity in that review. But yeah, make sure you come and join us at 6 o'clock because that is going to be a very, very interesting review. I'm excited to get into that one and talk about the specifics and who should be dropped and what's going to happen with Ten Hag and how do we feel about the season and really dive into that one. So, yeah, that is the conclusion to pros and cons. The first time, I believe, I've done a live one. Like I said, I usually pre-record it, put the graphics out, da-da-da. But I think it's better, innit, interacting. Thank you for the gift. Appreciate that, brother. A sushi. Sent me sushi. Do you know what? I've never tried sushi. Never tried sushi. Mad that, innit? I think I had maybe had it once when I went out with my mates. But I don't even know if that was sushi or not. I don't even know what sushi is. I always thought sushi was just fish. Bit random, I know. But I just thought it was like fish in a roll. Is it? Any sushi fans out there? You want to clue me up on that? Second pen was a bad call. The fact it was looked at for so long proved that Rashford offered of it. Alicia, I've given you veggie sushi. Well, that's not real sushi, is it? I don't know. Can someone clarify what sushi is, please? I'm losing my mind here. What is sushi? Anyone in the chat? Someone must have it on a frequent basis and know what it is. Never a penalty the second one or the first one. We'll get to that in a minute. I'm trying to talk sushi here. Max. Fish. Thank you, Max. It's just fish. I need a little bit more. Rice and raw fish. It can be fish, can be veg or meat. So it's an unknown. It can be anything. It's just a food. It can be fish, it can be veg, or it can be meat. So it's everything. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm going down a bit of a sushi rabbit hole there. Sushi can be wrapped in seaweed, leaves, and rice with fish content. That is the description I'm looking for, David Murdoch. Thank you very much. Sushi can be wrapped in seaweed, leaves, and rice with fish content. What a fucking description that is. I don't know if he's copy and pasted that off Wikipedia. But that's the answer that I was looking for. Yeah, absolutely. Proper sushi is fish. Oh, we're getting a bit of a debate here. I've never had it. If I was going to try sushi, sorry, a bit off topic, not United related at all, but let's be honest, sushi's more interesting than United at this moment. What type of sushi should I try? If I was going to try it for the first time, what would you advise me to go on? People tuning in saying, what the fuck is this geezer on about? What would you try? George Tomo, raw fish on cold rice. That isn't... You know, if I saw that on the menu, I'd be like, are you fucking mad? Yeah, mate, do you want a raw sausage on fucking burnt toast? No, I don't, pal. Thank you very much. Raw fish on cold rice. Tuna, props. You're not having conspiracies about fucking sushi, man. Warra United talk. Vegan and fish rice. One without wasabi. Oh, David, I've had wasabi before. No. Wagamama. Wasabi. Was it wasabi? What's the fermented cabbage? Kimchi, is it? Oh my god, that is one of the worst things I've ever tried in my mouth. Oh, that doesn't sound right. Kimchi, oh my, it was fucking awful. That is the worst thing I've ever tasted. How people can sell that as a product for people to consume is mental. Absolutely mental. It's just for posh people. Well, posh people's palates in the mouth are odd. Because that shit tasted horrendous. But I digress. Conclusion. Pros and cons. Another pathetic end to a game. There's a lot of questions. I'm almost tired of talking about the same things. Because I do these pros and cons after every game. So I'm sat here repeating, saying, yeah, way too open on the transition, conceding way too many shots, individual players with similar behaviours, managers not changing certain things, no leadership, no this, no that. Pathetic, absolutely pathetic. You're talking about cutbacks to the edge of the box. Conor Gallagher's first goal, we've conceded fucking millions of them this season. Weak mentality, questionable decision-making, players making the same mistakes, lack of tactical awareness, injuries constantly, and so on. What I would say is, good luck against Liverpool. I can't wait to do the preview later on. I really, really can't because I'm interested to see what the lads think. So, yeah, please do come and join us and get involved in that preview because you guys are equally important. I won't be live on TikTok, so make sure you come and check us out on YouTube at 6 o'clock. Real Reds Talk. Hit that subscribe button. Smash a like on the video. Thank you for everyone getting involved, interacting. You're all a bunch of legends. Alicia, love you. Take peace. Take peace. See you in a bit.